Well, hey there everybody, it's Snackbox coming to you here from the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. Really excited to be here taking my oldest brother on his first multi-day backpacking trip. My little brother and I are finally back at it. We haven't been on a trip together in quite some time. Really excited to be here. If you've been watching the channel, you'll know that most of this trip is sort of centered on this guy here. That is my $200 Amazon backpack setup. So I spent about $200 getting the base setup for a great backpacking rig going, and I'm gonna put it through its paces this weekend. We're gonna see a little bit of weather. Looks like we're gonna get some rain here or there. Pretty excited about that. We're on the sort of southwest corner of the park, heading up a 20-mile trailhead, and we have about 20 miles or so on this loop. So we're gonna go up to Gregory Bald and check that out tonight. Might be some azaleas blooming, so I've been told that it's really spectacular. Super excited to get out there. We've got so much to do here. We've got my brother's first multi-day backpacking trip. We've got an Amazon backpack. We're gonna see if I die in the woods, who knows? And we're gonna have a great time while we do it, maybe see some bears. So I think that's about it, everybody. We got a lot to do, not a lot of time. Let's get to it. We got Champ just behind us here. We're about a mile in and the trail's pretty spectacular. Humidity is definitely, whew, summertime, everybody, coming up on us here, but very much excited about this. Ranger side, Gregory Bald. That way. Good. So we're here at campsite 95. We made about, I don't know, we're probably about 2.5 miles in, give or take. And I'm gonna let Champ here. He's gonna explain to you the next 2 miles. What are they gonna be like, Champ?
The next one's gonna be rough, and then the next like quarter bit's gonna be hard.
Really quiet and peaceful here. We've got a little bit of thunderstorms kind of pushing in. We kind of anticipated that, and so Jimmy and Zach are coming up just around the bend. I think everybody's doing pretty well, but we're at the part of the trail where it's climbing a good bit, so I think we're going to gain probably, I don't know, probably about I don't know, somewhere between 1,000 and 1,200 feet in the next 2 miles or so. So it's definitely going to be a bit of a climb. Might be a little bit of an exaggeration, I don't know. I know it's steeper, I know it's hot and muggy, but it's a beautiful day. And so I'm really excited to check this out. We're gonna hit Parson Bald first, and so you're gonna get to see that in a couple of minutes probably. And a bald, for those of you who are sort of West Coasters or Rocky Mountainers or maybe even Floridians or Flatlanders. Bald is just an area here in the Smokies where on top of the peak there aren't any trees, so it's quite literally just what it sounds like. It's a bald. And so we're going to see Parson Bald today, and my hope is that when we get up there it's going to really kind of smooth out and kind of ride that ridge line, and so as long as it does that, I think we're going to see some really beautiful stuff. And yeah, yep. Champ just made it up here. He said he's sweaty. We're all a little bit sweaty. We got some storms pushing in over here, but went ahead and put on a little bit of rain gear. We got Jimmy over here, he's pumping some water. And Champ's over here, he's putting on his rain gear. I got on my trusty frog togs, and the bag actually, interestingly enough, came with the pack cover. And so we're really gonna get to check this thing out, see if it's any good. Here comes the rain though. Do-do-do-do. Well, we're getting close to the top of this climb here, and you know, Zach and Jimmy are behind me a little way. Weather really came down on us there, but it looks like it's clearing up. You might be able to hear a little bit of thunder in the background, but it's clearing up a little bit. I'm soaked to the bone, and you know, one of the most frustrating parts about hiking in the rain in the summertime, especially down here in the south, is that it's so hot that you have to really make a decision about whether or not you want to be wet from the rain or from the sweat, because you put on your raincoat and rain gear and it just holds all that heat in. But I gotta tell you, this is a beautiful area here. It's a very quiet part of the park. We've only seen 2 people on the whole hike, and that was at the car. They were a couple of people fishing, and they said hello. And but really beautiful. For some of the things that you need to know about the Great Smoky Mountains, number 1, this is the most frequently visited national park by more than double. So more than the Grand Canyon, more than Yosemite combined, Yellowstone, any 2 of those combined. This gets about 9 to 10 million visitors a year, and with the pandemic, I believe it even got as high as 11 million. One of the other things to know is that in the United States, because these are so old, all of the different plants and animals and such have had more time to develop and evolve. So this is actually one of the most biodiverse areas in the world. I believe it might even be the most biodiverse area in the world outside of the Amazon. And so lots of cool stuff to see. My brother, Zach, Champ, he is pretty adept at identifying plants. He's getting really good at that, and he's gotten into foraging a little bit. So he's been really helpful sort of pointing out some of the plants that locals might have used in the past for food or medicine, that kind of thing. So really pretty neat to come out with somebody who understands what they're looking at. Would recommend that. But anyway, I think we're probably still about 1.5 miles, 2 miles from Parson Bald. You can hear the thunder. I'm really kind of hoping that by the time we get up to Parson Bald that the rain is cleared, because we don't want to be out there exposed when we're going across. Even over here where the elevation is maybe somewhere between 5,000 and 6,000 feet, we don't want to be up there and be the highest thing on the Bald when there's thunder in the area. So we'll end up waiting below a tree line, or whatever you'd call it there. There's the rain again. Well, here we go. All right. You know, we made it up here to the ridge line. It looks like we're just about to Parson Bald. Definitely way up high. If you kind of see behind me, we're hiking. Quite literally, we're in the clouds right now. And so it's really cool, kind of eerie. Lots of rain coming down, so soaked to the bone. I'm hoping that we can make it to the campsite maybe the next 45 minutes or so, and then make some hot food and have a little bit of dinner, and then kind of sit around and dry off as much as we can in our tent. So kind of excited about it. The backpack, by the way, is holding up great, surprisingly. It came with this cover, and it seems to be holding up okay. My frog togs are certainly soaked through. That's same with Zach. He's got a much nicer rain jacket, so everybody kind of got soaked. It's raining, but it's still pretty good, you know? Still having a good time, and holding out hope that maybe in the next few hours the sky will break open and we'll be able to dry some clothes off before bedtime tonight. Zach and Jimmy are probably about 5 minutes behind. I can kind of hear them coming up the way there, but it was a lot of climbing. We had about 3,200 feet over the course of, you know, the whole hike is probably 7 miles, but the part with the incline is maybe, I don't know, like 4.5. So quite a bit of climbing, just steady, really exhausting. So I'm feeling pretty good. I think they're feeling pretty good, but just a little tired. So we'll see how it goes. Anyway, check in with you soon. We have made it here. We're all at camp. We're nice and warm, kind of starting to get warmed up. Everybody was really soaked. We're not sure what the weather's going to be like tomorrow. It might be actually pretty rainy and cold again, which is going to be a tough one on the morale, but I think we'll figure it out. But Jimmy started to feel kind of rough, so he's finally starting to come to and kind of get his energy back about him, so pretty excited about that. The campsite up here, by the way, the rangers told me was one of the more popular in the Smokies, so we're here at Sheep Pen Gap, and I gotta tell you, it is understandable why it's so good. The lots and lots of really great flat campsites, good views, sort of 360, you're up on this ridge line, so you get to see quite a bit of everything. So I mean, it's just really spectacular. I'll try to show you here, if you can, sort of the, what am I looking at here? The sunset kind of going down there, but you can kind of see the clouds here. So I think we're going to get a little bit of weather tonight. Not the end of the world, especially if our tents hold up, but who knows. Anyway, it's a great park. I've only done a couple of overnights here, a couple of different times, and I had a bear come into my shelter. So my first overnight here was not exactly ideal, and I'm hoping that this trip is a little bit different, that we've kind of changed the record on that. But found out that the hike that we did was actually the 4th most aggressive by way of elevation gain in the entire park. So both Jimmy and Champ handled it pretty well. I was feeling pretty good. I've been doing a little bit of training and feeling pretty good, but definitely tired by the end, a little bit sore. So happy to have a night of sleep. And then tomorrow's going to be a shorter day, maybe 4 miles or so. But I'm going to go get warmed up. We're going to go hang up our bear bag stuff and then call it a day, I think, before it gets much colder. It's starting to get kind of chilly here. So cross your fingers that that $12 sleeping bag is warm enough to help me survive the night, everybody. All right. Well, good morning, everybody. We had a pretty decent night here. Champ here, breaking down his tent. We had a pretty good night overall. It was a little bit cold, a little bit wet, but we're packing up. We're going to try to make the march down to the next campsite. It's about 5 miles, but it's mostly downhill. So we're gonna try to do that in the next little bit before the rain sets in. The neighbor over here in this campsite told us that it's probably gonna rain most of today. So if we can get there before it really starts dumping on us and set up our tents, then I think that's gonna make a pretty decent day. We'll see how it goes. It looks like it's coming in quick though. So I'm gonna turn this camera off. We're gonna start hiking. Well, we made it up here. We're at Gregory Bald. This is one of the coolest sort of features in the Appalachians. What you have are these areas, they're literally just called balds because, as you can see behind me here, that the area is just completely bald on top of some of these mountains. I've done a little bit of research, and the scientists are sort of inconclusive about what causes these because there are trees nearby. It's certainly not on every mountain, so it's sort of kind of a cool place to be, and especially if you come on a clear night. This is only half a mile from the campsite, so you could come up here and watch the stars and then hike back to camp, and I think it'd be a pretty neat kind of place to go. You can see over here, you've got Champ and Jimmy are just making their way up right here.
The receding hairline.
And then back here behind me, you can see the mountains there. It looks like there's smoke in the mountains, which is, they should probably name something after that. I don't know. Like, the mountains just look smoky up here, and I think it's maybe one of the best kept secrets here that the mountains look smoky. So if you come up here, be sure to look for that sort of the cloud cover, the way they kind of hunker down in between the mountains and the valleys there. It's pretty neat. And yeah. Champ here is going to act out for us that scene from Karate Kid.
That was bad. Take that out.
Yeah. It's probably staying in. made it down here to camp. I'm already set up down there. Champ and I are making up a little bit of food. Jimmy's gonna take a little bit of a nap. Champ, walk us through the menu for today.
It's cheese pita and summer sausage and hummus. It's super thick.
Some hummus.
Yo.
Getting a little bit late. We hung out here all day and the rain held off, which is nice news. I've got my tent back here all set up. Initial thoughts: the tent itself is serviceable but not great. Backpack is actually a very good deal. The stove and the cook set, awesome. Digging them. Frog Togs have died. They're game over. I still love them. Still think I'm gonna buy another pair. 20 bucks, who cares if they rip from crotch to butt, you know. But we're sitting here around the campfire. We got Dirty Legs here. We got Champ and Jimmy over there chilling out. Everything's good. We got trees. Look at all this nature. Well, good morning, everybody. It's the last day. We all slept pretty well. It's about time to head out. We're all kind of packed up here. You see camp is broken down pretty good. And you've heard me talk about it before. I want to show you here visual evidence. Always bring a good bar of chocolate with you. This one's got a little coffee in it. Really pretty amped about it. That's my pro tip for you from Snackbox. So anyway, we're gonna head out. It's only about 3.5 miles or so, about 700 feet of descent, I believe, if I'm reading the map correctly, which I'm probably not. And then we're gonna head on out. So excited about it, amped. Talk to y'all later. Well, everyone, we are just about to the car, so we're wrapping things up and just want to sort of close things out here. We had a really great trip. We got skunked for seeing bears, which is really rare, but we had a great time. This loop is just a really good one, I think, for a lot of people if you're looking for a good weekend hike that's a little bit challenging but not too overwhelming. I would recommend sort of doing it the opposite direction so that you start out at campsite, I believe 92, called Upper Flats, and then stay at Sheep Pen Gap, and that will sort of break up the climb into 2 days rather than 1 day. And so that would be a good idea, I believe. Other than that, just really great. They had the campsites, both of them that we stayed at, had the counterbalance pulley things where you can hang up your bear bags really easily without having to sort of find a tree and throw things up. Beautiful trail all throughout. They did a great job of manicuring it and making sure that the trees that had fallen down in the last few storms have been cut up, and so you don't have to climb over that many trees. I think maybe 2 or 3 at this point. You can see here we're walking on sort of like an old Jeep road, and so it's nice and flat and good for sharing, lots of conversation, that sort of thing. Anyway, really spectacular trip. Excited to come back out here and stay at the same 2 campsites but take a different route to them in about a month or so, and just get ready for that hiking season, everybody. I think that's about it. And if you've made it this far in the video, be sure you send me a message on Instagram at Backcountry Champion, and I will send you a free Outside Comfort Zone sticker. I'll get it in the mail to you right away. And be sure you click that subscribe button so you can stay in touch as I take off on the Colorado Trail for another season of through hiking. I'll be making a video that sort of reviews all of the gear that I took, this $200 Amazon backpacking setup. Overall, I think there's some real pluses here and some real finds. There's some things I would certainly change. If you're looking to get into the woods for a couple $100, it's possible. I'll say that. All right, everybody, this Snack Box out. Have a great day. I'll talk to you later.